Everyone set? Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for this afternoon's press conference. My name is Sarah Dodat, S-A-R-A-H, last name Dodat, D-O-W-I-D-A-T, and I have the honor of serving as the Public Information Officer for the Marathon County Sheriff's Office. This afternoon, you will hear from Chief Deputy Chad Billup, C-H-A-D, last name Billup, B-I-L-L-E-B, as he provides you with an update on the investigation into a structure fire and unexplained deaths that occurred in the early morning hours of Wednesday, April 6th on Rangeline Road in the town of Day in Marathon County. Our goal here today is twofold. First, to provide you with an update on the outcome of the investigation into this incident, and second, as Chief Deputy Billup shares the cause of death of the two victims with you in just a few moments, we want to educate the community on the dangers of these activities. After Chief Deputy Billup provides his statement, we will take questions. With that said, I'll turn it over to Chief Deputy Billup.
Thank you, Sarah. Good afternoon. I'd like to take this opportunity to provide you with the results of the investigation into a tragic incident that took place in the early morning hours of Wednesday, April 6th in the town of Day. Before I share those details, I'd like to thank the Stratford Area Fire Department, the State Fire Marshals, the Marathon County Medical Examiner's Office, the State Crime Lab, and our Detective Bureau for their work on this investigation. These teams worked tirelessly to find answers and bring closure to the families mourning the loss of their loved ones. On Wednesday, April 6th, the Marathon County Sheriff's Office Communications Center dispatched the Stratford Area Fire Department to a residential structure fire on Rangeline Road about a half a mile south of County Road C in the town of Day. This is located in southwest Marathon County. Upon the firefighters' arrival, they were unable to locate the homeowners and found evidence of suspected foul play. For this reason, we initially treated this incident as a homicide until we had further information. Once the fire was extinguished, a search of the burned structure revealed two deceased persons that had been identified as 44-year-old Tanya M. Rodriguez and 52-year-old James K. Carolfi, both of the town of Day. On behalf of the Marathon County Sheriff's Office, I would like to express my sincere condolences to their families. Due to the nature of this incident and the substantial damage caused by the fire, it was incredibly difficult to determine the cause of death and the series of events. Through the investigation, we were able to determine that the man and woman were deceased prior to the fire. Furthermore, foul play has been ruled out and the deaths are found to be accidental in nature and believed to be caused by electrocution from fractal wood burning. Fractal wood burning is a technique in which high voltage electricity is used to burn lightning or a tree-like pattern into wood that has been soaked in a chemical solution. I'd like to commend the work of the investigation team and Dr. Callan, the forensic pathologist, on this case for all of their efforts. I'd also like to thank the Edgar Fire Department, the McMillan Fire Department, Mosinee Fire EMS, and the Marshfield Fire and EMS for their work in helping at the scene. We do know that the fire started in the garage before spreading to the home. We believe that the fractal wood burning equipment that caused electrocutions likely started the fire. This was a tragic accident. In light of this tragedy, we'd like to educate the community on the dangers of fractal wood burning, an art form that has gained popularity on social media sites such as TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. The fractal burning process typically uses a high voltage transformer, often repurposed from a microwave oven, to flow current across wood items that have been soaked with that chemical solution. This process is highly dangerous and should only be done by trained professionals. With that, I'm open to take any questions you might have. Yes, Peter?
Yeah, did the deceased live in the house? Was this their house?
This was their home.
Were they found in the garage or were they found in the house?
Both parties were found in the garage.
Was it suspected that they were using the tools?
Yes, we have evidence that supports that they were in the process of using those tools when they died, and that those tools then caused the fire.
Do you have any information on how those tools actually cause the electrocution? Like, what is the actual danger of using repurposed materials?
So we have done some research, social media, YouTube are those types of things that we looked at in order to understand it. And it's a very dangerous process where you take a microwave oven apart and you remove the power supply from that microwave oven, and then you run it through jumper cables to nails that are in a board. So you can see the potential danger that's there when you're working with something like a power supply to a microwave, and how that could severely injure someone.
So then, as far as safety procedures go, this is something that really should only be handled by somebody that knows electricity or knows what they're doing with this.
I would say that no one should be doing this unless they have the proper equipment and the training in order to do it. That taking advice from YouTube or from any other social media site in order to do a craft item or some other artwork is not safe when you're dealing with electricity. So we would caution the public to just refrain from doing it. What was interesting from this investigation was the pathologist's knowledge of what this looks like, and they're the ones that came to us and said, could this be a possibility, which allowed us to go back to the scene and we confirmed. So they've seen this before at the state pathology lab. So it is a danger. People have died in the community, in our local community, as well as other parts of the state, and we want people to stop doing it.
Did the pathology lab tell you how widespread it is?
Well, we know that there is some work being done in the Madison area where families are advocating and educating the public on the dangers of it because of the loss of a loved one. So it has happened enough. We know that there's a neighboring county that had a case a few years back. So it does happen.
What kind of power are we talking about, amps or volts? Too
Not an
difficult?
electrician, so I would really not want to get into that. Lieutenant Zanobi, do you have an idea? I believe they were running 110.
Well, it depends on if they're using a DC or a AC power source to transform the electricity through the microwave transformer. But by all accounts, those microwave transformers are putting out between 1800 and 2200 volts. And of course, that has an amperage correlation, and amps are what can cause death.
Right.
The unit in this incident had the potential to put out in excess of 5 amps, which is well more than enough to cause death.
So is the cause of death electrocution?
The cause of death is electrocution.
Then do you know what this kind of, for lack of a better term, arts and crafts thing is used for? Is this, something where you do it and then you hang it up on your wall to show off?
People have done it for a number of reasons. They'll make bar tops out of it. I know of restaurants that have a bar top where they've done fractal wood burning, and then you will cover it in epoxy, and it's very pretty, quite frankly, but it should only be done by professionals.
You said a neighboring county had a similar death to this. What county was it?
I don't know for certain, but it was relayed back to us that one of them did.
How did anyone know there was a fire?
Our-
Was it called in from
Yeah.
by motorists?
A neighbor, a motorist, someone called it into our 911 center, and that's why we sent the fire department. And they were the ones that alerted us to the suspicious nature of the fire.
How long did the investigation go on for?
3 weeks?
We're coming up on day 9 right now, and it's still ongoing. We're confident in our conclusions, our findings, with the evidence we found at the scene, and information from the medical community to support that theory. But we're still conducting interviews and compiling reports.
Do you know what kind of chemicals the wood is soaked in before it's burned?
Steve, why don't you come on up here?
So the information I've found in some of these social media tutorials, if you will, the wood will be saturated with a wet powder solution, common thing that we find in the house, such as baking soda, that are conductive of electricity.
Could we get your proper spelling and title?
I'm Lieutenant Stephen Denobi, DENOVI, and I'm Lieutenant of Investigations for the Marathon County Sheriff's Office.
Was there a reason that the names of the deceased were not immediately released? It's been quite a while.
Yes. So, we worked closely with the medical examiner's office and family members to the possible relatives of who we thought the deceased were, and that collection of DNA and submission to the Madison State Crime Lab and analysis by their professionals down there did take some time to confirm genetic markers and identify who they were.
And to that point, we actually just met with the family yesterday. It was confirmed on Tuesday, late in the afternoon. We met with the families yesterday, and that's why we're meeting with you today. Any other questions? Thank you.
If not, that will